Hi everybody, this is Janet Meena from VIT University. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about functions. So actually functions are provided in the language for supporting modularity. What is meant by modularity is when we have to do a bigger job, we are going to divide the job into smaller pieces and accomplish the bigger job. That is the idea of modularity. And what are the advantages of modularity is it is easier to manage. When we do a small module, it is simple. We will concentrate only in the module. After completing it, we can combine it to complete the full job. And also we can reuse the same modules. Okay, for example, if you are writing some function, you can use it in the places wherever you want. And this concept is in all the fields, and it is not only with computer science, and also we use in our day-to-day life. For example, if we want to organize a birthday celebration in our home, then there are some modules like we have to arrange for catering, and then we have to decorate our home, bring a cake and so on. What we can do is we can give it to some other contractors, that is like small modules, it can be given to someone else, and as a whole, when every task is completed, the function is as a whole over. And when you see the language, how it supports, the programming language support modularity is through functions. And to have a better understanding about modularity, consider this plug point and a plug, right? And we can see that the manufacturers of this plug point and plug are different. This is prepared by someone else and this is prepared by someone else. There is a standard that you will have 3 holes like this, and the space between the holes will be like this, and the pin size, when you consider plug, it will be like this, and so on. The same plug can also be used for plugging in this 3-pin plug or 2-pin plug. And when you see this plug, it is used for plugging the plugs of everything, that is a mobile charger or a laptop charger or a mixie or grinder. That is how there is a large reusability is achieved. And since this manufacturers are not different, they do their own modules only, right? Similarly, if you consider a car, there are different parts like engine of the car, and then we have mirror, then we have glasses, and the manufacturers are going to be different. Each of them concentrate only in their module, complete and give, and it is possible to fit the modules in the entire car. Okay, and when you see here, this plug point is designed different, that is the pin size is different. So these types of plugs only can be plugged in, and we cannot use the plug points for plugging in these kinds of plugs, right? So the design is important, that is the parameters we pass for the function, that is important when we are going to fix it, right? When we are going to talk about functions, there are 2 important things in functions. One is parameters and another one is return value. See, when a function is returned, it is being called by one function. Basically, C is a functional programming where we are having a number of functions. One function call another function. Okay, and we say the function which is calling us callee function, and the other one is called function, right? And the callee function has to give some information, that is the callee function is calling the function for doing some particular task, and the task may require some input. Then input has to be communicated to the called function. How it is done is, it is done by passing parameters. So when the callee function is making a call to a particular function, it pass the required information as parameter to the called function, and after the called function finishes its job, it communicates to the callee function by returning some value, right? And what is signature of a function is, signature of the function is the number and type of parameters we pass for the function. As we have signatures for identifying humans, there is signature for functions also. It is used for identifying the function. In C, we can only return one value. Unlike Python, it is not possible to return more than one value, right? And basically, there are 2 mechanisms of passing values in C. One is called pass by value and another one is called pass by address. Now, we will have a better understanding of pass by value and pass by address through a real-time example. That is, consider that you have a PPT. okay, PowerPoint presentation prepared, and you share it with your friend, you mail it to your friend. Now your friend goes through it and makes some modification in his copy. It is not reflected in your copy, right? Because those two copies are independent. Yours is in your computer and his one is in his computer, right? So it is not getting reflected in your copy. That is what is passed by value. So when a callee function passes some parameters by value, if the called function makes some changes, it is not reflected in the callee function. But whereas if you consider pass by address, you can map it to submitting an assignment in SkillTrack. That is the online portal that we are using for learning the courses, right? So when you are given an assignment, if you type something and save it, your teacher can view it in the view window for your particular register number. Similarly, if your teacher is going to evaluate and give some marks, it can be seen in the student login. That is, the faculty as well as student are working in a memory which is common, which is shared between the two. That is what is pass by address or pass by reference, right? Now we will see an example program to understand it. Let us consider a very simple program, that is swapping of two numbers, right? Here is the line, this is the declaration of the function, and this is the definition of the function. What is the difference between declaration and definition is, in declaration we will just only say that two integer parameters comes for the function and it doesn't return anything, whereas in definition we will say what the function exactly does. That is what is definition, right? So when you see here, we are going to pass the parameters by value. So since it is by value, you see here the two values are got, there are two variables a and b. Values for the two variables are got from the user, and you are calling a function here. Since it is passed by value, we are just giving the name of the variables alone, right? Now we will just see what happens in the machine, inside the machine, using this this picture. That is, this is the picture representing the call stack of the system, right? And when you see the call stack of the system, when each function is called, a memory space is allocated. So you see here, this is the memory space for main, and for each variable, memory is allocated within this space. So in our example, in the main we have two variables a and b, right? So memory 4 bytes is allocated for int. So 4 bytes for a and 4 bytes for b is allocated, and first byte's address is going to denote the variable. So let us assume that address of this particular block is 0x1000 1000, and this is 0x2000, right? And now what happens in the next line is, we are getting the values from the user, that is using scanf. So when the user enters the value, it is stored in these locations. For example, let us assume that the user is entering value 3 for a and value 4 for b. It is stored like this, and the call stack will look like this for main. And next what we do is, we call the swap function. When we call the swap function, the control of the program goes here, right? That is here, and line by line it is getting executed. So when you see the call stack, it grows. The memory for a and b is there. Apart from that, we have one more variable in swap, t, isn't it? So for t also there is memory, and each of them have their own address. Please understand that this memory is different from the memory that is getting allocated in the main, right? Now what happens is, there will be matching, parameter matching. The first parameter's value will be copied into the first memory location, that is a, and second parameter is copied to the second memory location, that is b, right? 3 and 4 are here. Now what happens in the code is, then you say t equal to a, right? So what happens, this a, and when this function is getting executed, the values, the variable names in this memory space is only used. So here 3 will be copied into this space, because we say t equal to a, and in the next line we say a equal to b. So when I say a equal to b, this value a is taken off, and now a new value 4 is returned here. The 3 is taken off and 4 is returned there. That is what will happen when this line is getting executed. Next we say b equal to t, isn't it? So when we say b equal to t, this value 4 will be removed, and then it will store equal to t, that is 3 here, right? Okay, so 4 and 3 are now swapped. Now the next line, we ask the system to print the value of a and b. Okay, and this is in context to the function swap. So here it prints 4 and 3, right? Now the end of the function is reached and the control goes back to the main. Where it will go is to the line where the function call was made. This is the line where the function call was made. So it will go and now execute the next line. In the next line, we ask the system to print the value of a and b. Now this line is getting executed in the space of main. You just see in the space of main, a value is 3 and b value is 4. So it will only print 3 and 4 here. Whereas you can see that since it is passed by value, whatever change we have made in the space of swap is not getting reflected in this memory space of main. That is what we have observed here, right? We will also just execute the program and see. That is now we have to say GCC swap, right? That's what we have to say, pass by value, right? This is the program, right? And then you say a dot out, and we say 3. This is the value I enter for a, 4 value entered for b. And you can see that this is the first print statement that is getting executed in the memory space of swap, where the values are swapped. A is printed as 4 and b is printed as 3. Whereas this is the line that is getting printed after the control comes to the main. In the main, you can see that a is still 3 and b is 4, right? This is passed by value. Next is passed by reference. In pass by reference, what we are going to pass is address of the variable. You can see the same line. There are two variables a and b. We get the value of the variables a and b from the user, and we are going to call the function. When we are going to call the function, we are going to pass the address of the variable. How the address of the variable can be obtained is just put an ampersand before the variable name. Then we will get the address of the variable, right? So now the control will go here. Now we will picturize. As we picturized pass by value, we will also picturize pass by reference or address. Both are same and C, right? So what happens here is, this is the space, memory space allocated for main. You can see that there is a space for A and there is a space for B, and this is the address of A, this is the address of B. This is just an assumption. Now as usual, I assume that 3 is entered for A and 4 is entered for B, right? Now what happens is, this is up to here, it is over. Now we are calling the swap. When I am going to call swap, I pass the address, isn't it? So this is the address. This will be passed as parameter, and it will go for the function, that is the called function swap, right? Here we have two variables, a and b. When you see the type of variables, they are pointer variables, because we are passing the address. Addresses can be stored only in pointer variables. How pointer variables are indicated is just by putting a star before the variable name, right? So there are two pointer variables, a and b. Here also we have a variable t, right? So we can picturize. This is how the call stack will be looking like when the program is getting executed, t, right? Now what we say is, in the first line, t equal to star a. We cannot say a because a contains the address. We are saying content of a, right? So content of a means when this line is getting executed, this value is taken, the control will come to this particular location and take the value. When we say star a, sorry, when we say star a, the control will come to the control will automatically come here and then take the value. That is, this address is taken and it will come to that address and use the value. That is the meaning of star a. So what will happen to t is, there is this address value, the address value is 3. So 3 is stored here, right? And then what we say is star a equal to, right? So the content of a, right? So it will automatically come here when I say star a equal to star b, right? So the control will come here because the content of content in the address of A. Okay, A contains the address and the content of that address is going to be changed. That is the meaning of saying star A equal to star B, right? So here what happens is this 3 is removed and it is replaced by 4. That is what will happen when star A equal to star B is getting executed. So I will have 4, right? Sorry, I will have 4 in this memory space. Okay, fine. Next what we say here is, right, next what we say is star B equal to T, right? So star B, B is this, star B means this, the content of that particular address. So this is what equal to T, right? So this 4 is going to be removed and it is going to be replaced by 3. That is the meaning of that particular line, right? So now what we say, the control will come to the next line automatically and it prints the value of star A and star B. We know that A and B are addresses, so it will come to the address, take the value and print. It will print 4 and 3 here, and similarly the control will go back after the last line here. When I say print in my main, also it is the same space, isn't it? So here also it will print only 4 and 3, right? This is what will happen when we are going to pass by reference or address in C. Both are one and the same, right? So now I compile this particular program and I'm going to execute the program and show the demo, right? I'm entering the same values 3 and 4, right? So you can see that the first line 4 3, this is the output of the program when the control, that is print is an swap 4 and 3. Similarly, this is the line that is getting printed in main, that is also 4 and 3. This is about pass by value and pass by reference in C. Thank you for